Welcome guys to the week 30 update on the rarest birds in the Netherlands and the Western Palearctic. Now with 2 videos a week, I'm catching up quickly to real time. If you like these kind of videos, then make sure to subscribe and also leave a comment. This can be done both in Dutch and English. I really love to read them and reply to them. Now let's get into it. We start off with the waterfowl, and it is starting to get a bit boring, but the overview has got to be complete, so here's the well-known American widgeon. It was last reported on the 24th, so for now this could be the last report it is featured in. Both lesser scaups also lingered on, with the bird from Flevoland being the most popular as it was a lot easier to connect with. The other one only being seen and photographed by a single observer. In the heron department we start off with the black-crowned night heron, which was seen all over the country, as you can see on this map. The largest group of possible wild, non-breeding birds still residing in the southeast. Black storks keep on entering the country, with most birds seen in the southeast. With glossy ibis, I made a bit of a mistake. In my last video I told you about a group of 7 birds first seen in the southwest, but as it turned out those birds were seen on the 22nd, and that was supposed to be part of this video and not last week's video. But to not repeat myself, I've excluded those from this map. However, it seems like 5 of these 7 birds returned to the spot in the southwest the group of 7 was initially found. So intriguing how birds can re-find an area with such precision. 2 other birds were seen close to the spot the 7 birds were last seen, and as 2 and 5 make 7, it could well be the group had split up. On the 22nd, a group of very keen birders were birding in the northern parts of the Netherlands in search for rare waders. They started off with a find of an American golden plover, which is very likely the bird from earlier, which I dipped a total of 3 times. It was last seen on June 30th, so to re-find it after 3 weeks counts as a self-find in my opinion. The next day, the group first found a marsh sandpiper, so here's the map for this species for this week. In the afternoon, the group headed east and found the Pacific golden plover, also probably a bird that had been seen earlier but wasn't identified on the species level back then. Finding both an American and Pacific golden plover in 2 days is something most birders can only dream of and learn from. On the 25th, the first white-rumped sandpiper of the season was found, and not in the Wadden Sea where they turn up each year, but this time all the way inland. It concerned a new species for the province of Gelderland. It was found in an inaccessible area, but turned out it could be seen from a dike surrounding the area, although at a very large distance. But when seen both on the ground and in flight, the combination of jizz and a white rump will exclude all other possible peeps. The bird stayed for 3 days, and while it was still there, another one turned up in the Wadden Sea. Let's see how high the counter for this species will get this year. 2 broad-billed sandpipers were seen this week, one on the southern side of the Wadden Sea and one on the northern side. During the night of the 27th, another fly over Stonekule was sound recorded. If you're not familiar with the flight call, then listen to the sound recording. Although it is still relatively early for pectoral sandpiper in the Netherlands, as larger numbers start showing up by the end of August and in September, they can already be found, but more about when to search for which species at the end of the video. The same goes for the red-necked phalarope. Later in the season, more birds, especially juveniles, will show up. In July, we mostly see adult females, because they leave it up to the males to do the incubation and rearing of the chicks. The best bird of the week was of course the red-wattled lapwing. But the observation wasn't shared at first, so it couldn't be twitched. The bird was found on the Warblers Vlieland, which is due to the large amount of rainfall this spring quite a bit wetter than in earlier years. The red-wattled lapwing took advantage of it gratefully. On this map, from xenocanta.org, you see the distribution range as it was some years ago. It has expanded its range to the northwest and is breeding in Turkey for quite some years now. But although it is expanding its range, by the color on the map, you can see the species is mostly resident, so you wouldn't expect one to show up in northwestern Europe. In 2019, a red-wattled lapwing was found on the Warblers Texel, and although it was a second calendar year bird from the western subspecies, many birders still thought it could only be an escape. Later that year, it turned out the same bird was also photographed in Germany and Croatia. There was also one photographed in Belgium, but the photos were of insufficient quality to judge if it concerned the same bird. The distance from the Netherlands to Croatia is almost half that of the distance to the breeding grounds in Turkey, and also from the right direction. This, in combination with the fact that the species is kept very little in zoos and aviaries, and there are no known escapes in the Netherlands, made the Rarity Committee decide to accept that record. But due to the mild reaction from Dutch twitchers and the fact the bird was gone after a couple of hours, made it so it was only seen by 15 birders or so who participated in the ranking. So everybody was eagerly waiting for another chance. Make sure to also check out the next video of week 31 with more news about the species. We start off the gull, tern and skua part with the wetland-based terns and then make our way to the sea-based terns. I do not cover the whisker tern in this video because it is now a breeding bird in the Netherlands. 2 white-winged terns were reported, an adult and a juvenile bird. Gull-billed terns seem to have found a new favorite spot. Previously residing at sand excavation lakes in eastern Groningen, they are now taking residence at a wetland area in Drenthe, where they feed the chicks with the abundant frogs and grasshoppers. This week there was also a ringed roseate tern present again, but only briefly on the 27th. Because metal rings are very hard to decipher from a distance, it is not known whether this is the bird seen earlier in our country, in particular at this spot, or if it is a new bird. I wonder why they don't color ring this species. If anyone knows, then please let me know in the comments. And each time a roseate tern is featured in one of these updates, I have to let you know how much I would love to see one of those other mega rare terns that are seen in Europe. We do have one record of 2 bridal terns in 1989, a single elegant tern in 2002, and 1 silly tern on August 31st, 2012. And I remember this because I was sea watching at the opposite side of the country. There was also another report of an orange-billed tern at Texel, but the photos lacked enough detail to identify it onto species level. In the category birds of prey, not much interesting can be reported. There were still 3 short-toed eagles present in the Vochtelo Veen. As summer progresses, the chances of finding rare raptors will increase, so keep a close eye on the last part of the video to know where to search for. Still waiting on news concerning the breeding results of bee eater. Will they get common enough so breeding locations don't have to be kept a secret anymore? For now, these were the only visible observations for this week. Not many more sightings as the skuas have been found, and I also see an empty eastern side of the country. Keep your eyes out to score one for your local patch in the upcoming weeks. On the 25th, the first aquatic warbler of the year was found at the best area for the species these last years. It concerned an adult. I sadly cannot show you any footage from this species, as it is still lacking from an archive. It is a very hard species to connect with. Most are found in the early morning and then hide in the reeds for the rest of the day. Last year I tried this spot 3 times, but failed. I also twitched the bird 20 minutes from my house, but even 20 minutes turned out to be too much. And of course, I also searched for myself, but that didn't work out also. So if you find one this year, which I can twitch and film, I owe you. On the 25th, an adult rose-colored starling turned up in a field behind the house of a well-known bird from Texel. Adult rose-colored starlings are hard to connect with in comparison to the easier juveniles that turned up in fall and winter, as turned out with this bird, which was only present for 1 day. At the Isle of Schiermonnikoog, the sole common rosefinch of the week was mist-netted and ringed. For the Western Palearctic part of the video, I only have another Siberian sandplover, this one in Sweden on the 24th and 25th. This could be the same as the Finnish bird from last week, but the available photos lack enough details to be certain. Still a chance the bird will move south and hopefully use the Dutch part of the Wadden Sea as another stopover. Fingers crossed. As this video went live on August 11th, I hereby give you my list of species to search for in week 33, which is August 12th until the 18th. The best weeks for black stork and buff-breasted sandpiper now lie behind us, but it's a very good week to search for broad-billed, white-rumped, pectoral and of course marsh sandpiper. And check your local page for gull-billed terns and sitting cisticolas. Week 33 also marks the beginning of the Balearic shearwater season, although September in recent years is better for this species. It is also the last good week to search for aquatic warbler. And while I'm catching up with these rare bird updates, I'm also working on 2 other projects, so stay tuned. Hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.